What's up, everybody? It's Glenn back with Big Jack, back with another edition of the NFL Best Bets of the Weekend video. We are going into week six. Uh, these weeks are flying by, Jack. Heading into week six, after a week where Jack went 2-1 to improve his record to 6-8-1 on the season, and I had a little bit of a down week. I went 1-2 to move my record to 8-7 on the season. We're gonna have a good week this week, though. We're gonna get the show into the positive for this 2024 season. Jack, how you feeling this week? How's the board looking to you? Because I'll be honest, I was having a tough time coming with my picks this week.
It definitely gets tough once those buys start coming into play. Obviously, tightens up a little bit, not as many options, but I'm feeling good overall. Still, certainly not the start that I would ever want, but 2-1 in back-to-back weeks now. Hopefully, trending in a little bit better of a direction here. And yeah, it's hot and heavy, man. Already into week six, definitely starting to shape up where some of those teams are, depending on how bad your start may have been. You think of a team like the Bengals and the Jaguars, had some high hopes, but you're already down to 1-4. You know, there's some time, but teams are going to really have to kick it into gear. But yeah, definitely starting to feel a little more comfortable with the familiarity. There's so much change over year to year. It's hard to really predict where teams are going to be at coming into the season. There's the rare exceptions. You got your Chiefs, and other than that, everything else is sort of a crapshoot. But looking forward to Week 6. I know you said you feel like the board's tight, but hopefully we can go ahead and find some winners.
Yeah, man, I was having a tough time looking at the board this week. You are right, though, that it starts becoming a little bit. These teams are who they are, despite what the preseason expectations might have been for certain teams. They got to get their ass into gear, or they're just going to have a wasted season. So we'll see how this crux part of the season here, this week 5 through maybe like week 10 point, week 6 through week 10, is going to do a lot to tell the story of how this playoff picture is going to look. With that being said, I'm going to throw the first pick over to you. Who's your first pick of this week 6 weekend?
I'll get it out of the way. Everyone's going to hate it. I'm taking the Jaguars plus 1.5. It's the easiest play of the year, in my opinion. I can't look away from it. I hate to bet against the Bears and everything they got going right now, coming off that huge win against Carolina, how good they looked. I just think this is a horrible number. I don't know why Jacksonville isn't a 1 or 2 point favorite. I think they win the game outright, and I'll take the 1.5. There's a lot of funky things going on with the line. It opened at 2.5. I don't know. All the money's on the Bears, and there's reverse movement down to 1.5. I don't know. It's like everything. I wanted to stay away from it, but I couldn't. Everything is just green light, screaming that it's the play. And I hope I'm wrong. I honestly hope it's a loser, but I'm taking Jacksonville plus 1.5. They're better than um, that 1-4 record has shown to be, in my opinion. Oh wow, Seahawks are returning a kickoff for a touchdown right now. They're tight loss to Miami week 1 with Tua, which is obviously a different animal on the road. The tight loss to Cleveland, who seems to suck, but they're competitive in every game they've been in, except for the Monday night game against Buffalo, where they got absolutely blown off the field. Other than that single game, they've been in every one of them, including at Houston. They've sort of been unfortunate to do what they've done. A lot of it has to do with some of the flaws and shortcomings they seem to have on the defensive side of the ball. But Trevor Lawrence is playing better than people realize because of their record. And, I think you get that first win, you get the monkey off your back last week, even though it was quite ugly. They almost blew it down the stretch, came down to that last second field goal. I don't know. They're going to London. They go there every year. It's kind of a bullshit, unfair advantage, in my opinion. But I think they roll into London, take care of business. Unfortunately, it's going to be at the hands of our beloved.
Yeah, I hope you're wrong, obviously, because I'm a Bears fan first, but secondly, because I'm on the Bears this week. Bears -1 is one of my three best bets of the weekend. Um, I like the mat. I just like the matchup purely from a perspective of I think our defense is good. I think their defense is bad. I think we'll be able to pass the ball against them. Obviously, as with any game, if we don't protect the rock, I'm not pretending like Jacksonville can't win this game, but I like the way that we match up against them. I like us. I like us to handle business, and I like us to beat Jacksonville rather comfortably. I know I'm probably sounding like a fool. Maybe I'm looking at this wrong, but just from a matchup standpoint, I like the Bears this week. So, first time this year, we're going head to head. Don't hate it here in this spot. I get your logic. Obviously, I kind of agree with you that them going to Jackson or to London every year, Jacksonville going to London every year, is kind of like a weird advantage. I definitely agree, but I don't think it matters. I think this Bears team is more than just like your average, middling, no direction NFL team. I think they believe that they are a true playoff contender this year, and I think they're going to take care of business this week. I could be wrong, but that's my first pick of the week.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that sentiment, and also the Bears know that they're going to be highly motivated. They got a bye coming up next,
Yep.
and then they got a couple more winnable football games before the meat of that schedule really comes into play. But I'm sure that you know you take it one week at a time as a professional, and as you should. But there's no way there's not a little human element of what your schedule is. What's waiting behind the curtain. So they'll definitely be motivated. I just think it's I don't know, man. I think it's just weird number, weird situation. Yeah, go ahead.
One last thing before I'll let you finish and go on to your next pick. But the Bears, I think, are on a stretch of like 10 or 11 games in a row where they at most they've given up is 21 points. I think they score like 25 plus this week against Jacksonville, which is another reason why I like them in this game. And another reason why I said I really like them unless Caleb makes some kind of mistakes or there's some weird fluky turnovers. I really think this is a game, unless there's some weird fluky turnovers, that the Bears should take care of business, but I could be very wrong.
Yeah, that's a good call out on that trend that they got going, where they, like you said, I think it is 10, at least 10 and maybe be 11, like you mentioned, games in a row where the most they've given up is 21, which is should be winning a lot of football games if that's the case. Like I said, I hope you get the edge in this one,
Sure.
but I'm not going to take the pick back.
I
Moving
got you.
on,
I got you.
moving on. I'm going to go. This is a little. I don't know, a little rude, I guess, but I'm gonna take the Saints +3. A lot of shit going on in Tampa Bay, obviously, with the Hurricane Milton that just ripped through there. Um, I got my sisters down in St. Pete, so they're in that area. So obviously was close to home. But I just think when shit like that happens, man, I don't know. It could go one way or another. They could be, fired up, wanting to play that much more. And God bless them if that's the case. But I think there's a lot of distractions with Zach's going on. I don't know how there couldn't be. And I think it's an oddly tight number. The Saints are starting Spencer Rattler, rookie quarterback, and it's only +3. It's in New Orleans. I don't know. I just think that Tampa Bay's defense is one, not very good. Two, they're pretty banged up. And the Saints, well, they've struggled as of late. They still have a very stout red zone defense. I'm not sure if they're still number one in the league after the most recent performance against Kansas City, but they're definitely still up there. I think they could get a little bend, don't break type action against Baker Mayfield and those Bucks. I think they keep it tight. I think Dennis Allen, people knock him for various reasons and probably rightfully so. But he's a defensive-minded coach. I think he's going to look to protect. Excuse me. I think he's going to look to protect his rookie quarterback making his debut in the NFL. I think he'll have a pretty conservative game plan. I think they'll take care of the ball, not ask him to do too much. Sort of lean on their defense, lean on Alvin Kamara. I think they keep it tight. I'll take the Saints +3.
Yeah, I get the logic this week, and I don't think you're a scumbag, man. I mean, you find the angle, you got to play it, and I agree. When you got something like that going on, a lot of distraction. Got to imagine it's tough to stay focused on the task at hand. Meanwhile, New Orleans, they need a W, so and they're not gonna have a pity party for their division rival there. So I like where your head's at. My second pick of the week, I'm going to stay in the NFC North, and I'm going to ride the Green Bay Packers as 4.5 point favorites at home versus the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals shown to be a frisky team, coming off a comeback, come from behind win over their division rival, or division opponent, not rival, San Francisco 49ers. Coming back from, I think they were down 13 and a half. They ended up winning the game by one. I like them to go to Green Bay and Green Bay to handle business this week. Maybe Arizona lays a little bit of a dud on their back-to-back road game stretch there. I like Green Bay minus 4.5. I think they're going to get right. I also think that similar to that first game where Malik Willis played this year against the Titans, I think this is going to be one of those games where Matt LaFleur sees the Cardinals' defense being so bad against the run, and I think they run all over the Cardinals and just dominate. I think they win by a touchdown. Packers minus 4.5. That's my second pick of the week.
Man, I gotta get on your board. I see it at 5.5,
Oh, hell yeah.
and that's the only reason that there's one thing about that game that I wasn't too excited about. Just a Kyler Murray trend. I saw he's 8-0 as a 8-0 against the spread when he's catching 5 points or more as a dog. And I think when he's as a dog in those games in his career, he's 8-0 in his last eight in his career. He's like 11-2 against the number. So for whatever reason, he seems to cover those numbers. The Cardinals have already covered big numbers twice this year. Once to start the season in Buffalo, they're 6-point dogs. They covered that one, and then obviously they just covered a big number in San Francisco, winning outright. So that trend with Kyler Murray is the only thing that would give me any pause. But I'm certainly not going to back the Cardinals in that spot either. So I don't hate that pick. I just think it's a little bit of a big number, but yeah, Green Bay is, they've been finding ways to scratch and claw and get a couple W's, but they haven't looked great this
They
year.
don't look great.
So maybe they look at it as a little bit of a get right spot for themselves. I'm sure they'll be rearing and ready to go. My last pick, I'm actually going to stay in the exact same division I was just in. I'm going to play an ugly game, a hold your nose type of play. I'm going to go with the Panthers at home +6 against the Atlanta Falcons. It's just kind of what's been happening over the course of Kirk Cousins' career these last 2, 3, 4 years. His team's winning games. He's playing well. I got a lot of respect for Kirk Cousins, but for whatever reason, they're always one score. They're always tight games, even when they are getting it across the line, getting the W, which I think they still will do. But I think that game's tight. I think Carolina shows a little bit of fight. Obviously, they just got embarrassed, undressed at Soldier Field. It was beautiful to see from our perspective, but I think they have a little bit of a bounce back this week. I know they just had some injuries announced on the offensive line. They're already banged up on the defensive side of the ball. I think people see Atlanta coming off the mini bye playing Thursday night and how good that offense looked. I think a lot of people might view this as they just got killed by the Bears. Of course, the Falcons are going to roll them over. Like I said, I'm not going to go out on a limb and say that I think there's much of a chance for Carolina to pull off the outright, but I certainly think it'll be a tight game because Kirk Cousins always plays tight games, and I'll take the Panthers +6.
Yeah, bounce back spot, division game, home game, everything pointing to Carolina winning or fight tough, hopefully covering that spread. But I'll tell you what, they look so bad against the Bears, man. I hope they look a little bit better this week for your sake and my sake, because I'll be backing you. My last pick of the week, we've been on the Denver Broncos as a show, I feel like most weeks this season. I'm going Oppo. I'm going to go against the Broncos. I'm going to take the Chargers coming to town. Chargers being 3-point favorites in Denver when Denver's 3-2 doesn't make a ton of sense to me. But the Chargers are coming off a bye. Jim Harbaugh off a bye. I think they do enough to find a way to get a win and hopefully cover that 3-point spread. Chargers -3 at the Denver Broncos is going to be my last pick of the week.
I like that pick a lot. That number's kind of bounced back and forth between that 3, 2.5 down to 2, back out to 3. It's kind of seen a decent bit of movement, but it was definitely one I had my eye on as well, and I would have been on the same side. I think you're, in my opinion, just taking just taking out everything other than I look at it as I think it's a good value play. You're kind of shopping at the top of the market with how the Broncos have been playing. I think if this game was 3-4 weeks ago, it's probably closer to a touchdown spread. So I just think I think it's a very, very sharp value play to take the lesser points with the Chargers.
Oh yeah. All right, quick recap. I am on the Green Bay Packers -4.5 at home versus the Arizona Cardinals. Chicago Bears -1 in London versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. And the Chargers -3 going to Denver and taking on the Broncos. Jack is on the Jaguars on the opposite side of me. He's on the Jags +1.5 in London versus the Bears. He's on the New Orleans Saints as 3-point dogs at home versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And he is on another home dog in the Carolina Panthers +6 versus the Atlanta Falcons. Parlay this week. Do I make it 4 legs or do I make it 5 legs and toss out your Jacksonville Jaguars play? That's the question, but we'll see. All right, Jack, let's get some winners this week. We can get 5 wins as a show. That'd be great. Any last words for the fans out there?
Hey, one way or another, unfortunately we're starting with one loser bright and early Sunday morning.
One win,
and I'll be more than happy if it's my side of it because that means our boys will be taking care of business.
Oh yeah,
Bears.
Like and subscribe if you're new. We'll be back with a Bears episode as well.